but to see the person, the people who are going through the crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one thing to talk about possible GM bankruptcy in the abstract form or in terms of news and newspaper magazine articles. It's something else with a person who has the responsibility to try to not make that happen.
For sure, for sure. I mean, the personal stories of Michigan citizens, it's why this book is really on sort of three levels. There's the personal level of Dan and I, and then there's the level of what Michigan citizens were really experiencing on the ground. And then there's a level of Michigan being the canary in the coal mine for the nation.
One of the fads of the hour in the management field was MBWA, management by walking around. And the governor walks around a lot. So whether it's plant floors or state parks or wherever, you saw a lot of people. And it wasn't uncommon, Jim, to sometimes when Jen was with family and sometimes by herself, to have the kind of one-on-one encounters, a few of which are in the book, that really brought this book to life, brought Jennifer's political struggles and the economic struggles to life in really profoundly human ways. And hopefully that comes alive in the book.
The question is, you signed up to be the governor, but what led you into that decision?
A lot of soul searching for both of us, really.
Really, when we met, I could hardly get a date because she was so busy with first year of law school, but on top of that was so involved in the movement to have Harvard, where we were in law school, divest its holdings in companies that did business in South Africa. So she was a complete and total activist at the time I met her.
The president of Harvard's name was Derek Bach. Derek Bach, get the word. This is not Johannesburg.
So there you have it. Jennifer was protesting and working hard in school. And we met and expected to come back here to Michigan, to my home that I love, to my 7 siblings and 60 cousins, and one day maybe I'd run for governor. And so we'd kind of talked about that. We both knew we were interested in public service, and we were meeting with the priest in preparation for our marriage. And after the first 2 sessions, in the third session, he was sitting across the table from us, and he said, "What happens in 8 or 10 years if the party comes to Jennifer and they say, you'd be a great candidate, there's an open state Senate seat, and you're a lawyer, and you're smart, and you went to Harvard, and you're photogenic, and you're communicative, you know, you should run for state Senate." And he said, "Dan, how would you feel about that?" And it was a terrible wake-up moment for me, Jim, because I felt like I'd just been hit by a 2x4, and here I was marrying the person I could never beat in an election. And,
Fortunately, we never had to run against each other.
Right. But we kind of thought that I would get involved in politics. But Jennifer did such great work as an assistant U.S. attorney and as corporation counsel to lead a huge county government's law department. And just as that priest predicted, one day people in the party, friends of ours, came to Jennifer and said, "There's an open seat going to come for Attorney General, and you're a lawyer, and you've done criminal work and civil work, and you're communicative, and you're so great, you should run." And I said, "You should run." And so we had a long conversation. Our kids were only 6, 5, and 1, I think, at the time, or 7,
for
6, and 1.
Yeah.
Our son wasn't even a year old, so it was going to be a big shift. But Jennifer had such a heart for public service.
If it weren't for the fact that Dan was willing to take responsibility for and be the father at home, and not as Attorney General so much, but as governor for sure, because that's really an all-inclusive situation. And as any governor knows, whether you're a man or a woman, you know, the family needs to be protected, and the family needs to have a strong presence. And Dan was willing to sacrifice a huge amount to be able to enable me to do that. But I very much believe in a partnership with government in identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a SWOT analysis. Every smart business does it. The U.S. has to do it too. States have to do it all the time. Instead of Michigan competing against Texas or Ohio or Illinois for jobs, which is a stupid strategy nationally, because all you're doing is moving jobs around inside the country, we need to enlarge our economy by developing a competitiveness strategy that enables us to go abroad and bring jobs back here, as well as develop the sectors that we know regionally we will be competitive